Hello, everyone. My name is Mohammed Garba, and along with my colleague Amina, I am absolutely thrilled to welcome all of you SS1 students to today's Explainer. We are here to teach you all about commerce, specifically framing it as a career guide to your future success. We're going to dive deep into the incredibly exciting but, sometimes seriously demanding world of commerce. If you've ever daydreamed about stepping into the fast-paced lanes of business, finance, or trade, well, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to look closely at what this career path actually looks like out in the real world, the massive opportunities it holds, and some of those hidden realities you absolutely need to know about. Let's get into it.
So, let me hit you with a question you've probably heard a million times by now. What do you want to be when you grow up? It's a simple question, right? But the answer? Well, that literally shapes your entire future. We all start out with these big, bold dreams. Maybe you see yourself running a massive multinational corporation or managing high-stakes investments. Or hey, maybe you're not quite sure yet, and that is totally fine. I want you to hold on to whatever that dream is as we walk through this material today. Let's see exactly how a career in commerce might just be the vehicle to get you there.
All right, so here is our roadmap for today. We're going to cover what is commerce, the classification of occupations, high salaries and opportunities, occupational hazards and risks, workplace stress in banking, and finally, choosing your career path.
Okay, starting off with Section 1, what exactly is commerce? So commerce isn't just about money. It's actually the engine of the entire economy. It is the exchange of goods and services between producers and consumers. Think of it as all the activities like banking, insurance, transportation that make buying and selling even possible. And to be a part of this giant engine, you need an occupation. An occupation is simply any legal job you engage in to earn a living and satisfy your needs and wants. Simple enough, right? Moving right along to Section 2, classification of occupations. The whole world of work actually follows a pretty clear structural hierarchy. Every single job out there essentially splits into three main branches: industrial, commercial, and services. It's kind of like a giant family tree for careers, showing exactly how everything connects together to keep our society running smoothly. The crucial thing here is understanding how these three branches differ. Industrial occupations, those are all about making or extracting things, so think agriculture, mining, or manufacturing. Then you have commercial occupations, which is our big focus today. This is all about trade and facilitating trade. This is exactly where your bankers and your insurance agents live. And finally, services. This involves specialized professional or personal contributions. Think doctors and medicine, or, well, teachers like me and Amina. All right, Section 3, high salaries and opportunities. Let's talk about the rewards. The commerce field is incredibly diverse, and the opportunities are evolving so rapidly right now. On one side, you've got your traditional powerhouses, chartered accountants, investment bankers. These roles have always commanded a ton of respect and, frankly, really high pay. But beyond those traditional paths, we're seeing these rapidly emerging tech-driven roles. With digital fraud on the rise, cybersecurity finance experts are absolutely invaluable right now. And with all the global economic uncertainties, risk management professionals are in massive demand. Finance is literally colliding with tech, creating brand new, highly lucrative career paths that didn't even exist a decade ago.
Now, take a look at this number, $139,558. That is the average salary of a chief financial officer, or CFO. Their job is to oversee financial records, analyze complex risks, and build financial models. This kind of massive earning potential is waiting for you in the upper tiers of a commerce career. The financial rewards for mastering this field, they are undeniably huge.
But that brings us to Section 4, occupational hazards and risks. Time for a reality check.
Because, as you know, high rewards almost always come with hidden costs. According to the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, or OSHA, workplace hazards fall into 5 main categories. Now, you might associate chemical or biological hazards with a science lab, but commerce and office roles have their own silent threats. I really want you to pay special attention to that last bullet point: ergonomic risk factors. These are the physical strains caused by poor workstation design, repetitive motions, and just sitting at a desk for hours on end. And believe me, that is incredibly common in commercial roles like banking.
Which leads us perfectly into Section 5, workplace stress in banking.
The banking sector has gone through some massive global changes over the last few decades. The restructuring of banks, largely driven by economic crises and crazy fast technological changes, has fundamentally altered what the job actually is. Research shows that traditional bank employees have essentially been turned into what they call bank sellers. They are under immense, constant pressure to hit sales targets for things like investment funds and insurance policies. Add to that the constant looming threat of corporate downsizing, well, you get a massive spike in psychological distress among the workforce. It's tough out there.
Let's look at some seriously eye-opening data from a study focused specifically on the Nigerian banking sector. An overwhelming 95% of bankers reported working long hours. We're talking 12 to 15-hour days here, often bleeding right into the weekends. Nearly 88% suffer from prolonged static posture, and almost 82% are dealing with the effects of prolonged computer usage. This data paints a pretty stark picture of the day-to-day physical and psychological reality of working in such a high-pressure commercial environment.
And think about how those working conditions actually affect the human body over time. When you're sitting at a computer for 15 hours a day under intense pressure to sell, your health takes a severe hit. Over 86% of the bankers in this study reported stress-related health conditions over a 24-month period. 80% suffered from musculoskeletal problems, aches, pains, and stiffness from just sitting in that static posture all day. And over 71% dealt with prolonged headaches. The physical toll of this quote-unquote cushy office job is actually incredibly high. So what's driving all of this stress? What is keeping these professionals awake at night? Well, it essentially comes down to this. Job security was shown to be the #1 source of Nigerian bankers' job stress. The pressure to perform in a highly competitive industry that's frequently downsizing means the sheer fear of losing their livelihood overrides almost everything else. It creates this high-strain, low-support environment that can honestly lead to clinical depression and severe burnout. All right, deep breath. Let's move to Section 6, choosing your career path. How do you navigate all of this? The good news here is that your options are vast. After the 12th grade, the Commerce stream opens up a massive roadmap of degrees for you. Everything from a standard Bachelor of Commerce to highly specialized fields like financial accounting. And beyond that, there are higher professional certifications. You could become a chartered accountant, a company secretary, or a certified financial planner. You have so many different pathways to navigate around those risks we just talked about and find a niche that suits you perfectly. To find that perfect niche, the CFA Institute recommends a highly structured 4-step process. First up, self-assessment. You got to be completely honest with yourself about your analytical skills, but also your interpersonal skills, because remember, finance really requires building relationships. Second, understand your goals. Where do you actually want to be in 10 years? Third, research. Do not just rely on stereotypes. Go talk to actual professionals about what their daily lives are like. And finally, step 4, weigh up the pros and cons. When you're weighing your options, you really have to look at the whole picture. The upside of a commerce career is fantastic, right? High earning potential, global opportunities, and incredibly diverse career options. But the downside is very real. Long hours, high pressure, and a genuinely tricky work-life balance. You just have to ask yourself what you are naturally suited for and what you are personally willing to tolerate to achieve those big goals. Which leaves us with this final, provocative question. Are the high rewards of a commerce career truly worth the intense pressure and the workplace hazards? Honestly, there's no single right answer to that. There's only the right answer for you. Amina and I really hope this explainer has given you the clear, structured insight you need as SS1 students to weigh those scales effectively. So do your research, understand the realities, and make a choice that perfectly aligns with your ultimate goals. Thank you so much for joining us today, and keep learning.